like to introduce you to Jon Harris, one of the drum tutors at ICMP. He's a highly regarded session musician and drum tutor and has played in bands such as Odyssey and Circus 8. He's going to be telling you more about his journey and how he got into drumming, and he's going to be giving you lots of helpful tips on learning more about drums. Have lots of fun.
Hi guys, my name is Jon Harris. I teach drums here at ICMP London, and today I want to give you an introduction into this beautiful instrument, the drum kit. So a little background about myself before I get started. I played the drums since I was about 12 years old. I was very fortunate enough to go to an incredible secondary school where the musical department was so strong, and I also had an amazing drum tutor when I was there as well. He was very inspiring. We learned cover songs, different rudiments, different groove ideas, and loads of different styles of music. When I was about 17, he said that I had the opportunity and the chance to go to London to study drums professionally. So when I was 18, I went up to London, into Acton in West London, and I studied at DrumTech, which is a really prestigious music university. I did a year on the diploma course, and then I did 3 years on the degree course. When I was at DrumTech, we learned loads of amazing concepts, how to be a professional musician in the industry, live performance, sight reading, different styles, and I actually became really good friends with some of the tutors there, which enabled me to network with them and some of their friends and colleagues that they worked with, and I then started getting gigs with some of the tutors, expanding my network base, and I became a professional musician at the age of 24. A typical day in the life of a drummer really depends on what I have on for the day or for the week. I really like the varied sort of schedule and timescale of my work. I do a lot of teaching, I do a lot of tours, I do a lot of theatre shows, I do a lot of different studio sessions, so it really depends on what I'm doing for that day. If I'm teaching, I usually get up, get all my stuff ready for the day of teaching, prep my material if I need to do that, and then I head into the university or college that I teach at. At ICMP, I feel very fortunate that I get to inspire and teach the next and younger generation of musicians. We do a lot of stuff that I used to do at DrumTech, which is really familiar to me. So we do live music performance, technique, styles, sight reading, and the students have an amazing opportunity to actually work with professional musicians who come in and do seminars and lectures, and also learn from their peers as well, which is really interesting and fun to watch. If I'm doing a show in the evening, which I usually gig about sort of 3 or 4 times a week, I'm quite fortunate to gig a lot, I will pack up all my equipment, load it into the car, drive to wherever the venue is, and then we usually load in, have a quite extensive sound check where we set up all the equipment, mic everything up, and then we sound check each individual instrument and then the band as a whole, so that the front of house team can get a sound for the show that evening. If I'm going on tour, we usually have sort of a long period where we rehearse before the tour, and then we go and meet the tour bus on the day the tour starts, and we'll drive to wherever we've got to go to. I've been quite fortunate and lucky to tour the UK, Europe and the States in my career so far, and touring is definitely why I became a professional musician in the first place. My favourite show that I've ever done, and a real highlight of my career so far, is when I headlined Camp Festival with Frankie Goes to Hollywood a few years ago. There was about 15 to 20,000 people there, so the energy was absolutely electric. And what made it even more special was my parents had queued up all day to be front row of 20,000 people. My parents have been really supportive of me through my whole career, so it was such an amazing moment for them to see me on such a big and historic stage. So some of the rituals I have before I go on stage, I know every musician has their own different style, but I am quite sort of simplistic. I get changed for the show that evening, I go up to the dressing room and I lay out my practice pad, which we'll talk about in a little bit. I get my sticks out and I get out a metronome and I practice different rudiments and exercises, and I warm up for the show that evening. It's really important so I don't sort of strain or twist any sort of muscles, and also I'm getting my brain engaged for the show that evening. Another thing I do is I put my headphones in and I listen to some of my favourite tunes before I go on stage. It kind of gets me in a really good mood and pumps me up and gets the adrenaline flowing for the show that evening as well, which I really, really enjoy. Right, let's get you guys started. So to start with, in its most simplistic form, all you need is a pair of sticks, a practice pad, and a metronome. So sticks, I would stick to about 3 different makes. Vic Firth, which I've got here, Vater, and Promark. They're the kind of leading stick companies at the moment. And the industry standard size is 5A. It's a very sort of medium weighted and length stick. So I would definitely stick to 5A. Sticks range from anything from about £8 to £10. You can get them in bricks of sticks, which I think is about 12 pairs of sticks. So you can get them in bulk and you can get them from anywhere. Amazon, any leading drum companies out there, just look around and you'll be able to find them. The next thing you'll need is a practice pad. Now, the idea of a practice pad is that it replicates a real drum. And as you can hear, they're very, very quiet. This has actually got like a rubber top to it. And they come in different sizes. You can go anything from, I think this is 6-inch up to about sort of 12-inch. And they're amazing for practicing at home. And if you put them on a table, some of them have rubber bottoms like this so it won't slide. Or you can put it onto a snare stand. And they're used for practicing rhythms, rudiments, and different grooves. And some of the practice pads actually come with different surface areas. So it almost replicates a drum kit. Now, you can get these again from anywhere online. They range from anything up from about sort of £15 up to about £80, depending on what you want. But they all do a very similar job. And just see what suits your needs and shop around. And again, you'll be able to find these anywhere on the internet. So the final thing you'll need for a simple practice setup is a metronome. Now, a metronome is something that replicates time and gives you a sense of tempo. And as a drummer, we need to be in time and have a good sense of time and control the time for the ensemble that we're playing with. So I actually practice with a metronome for, I'd say, 95% of my practice. You can set them to different tempos, and it's really handy just to kind of make sure that you are staying in time and you're playing all your stickings and rudiments in the same tempo. You can get these from any app store for Apple and Android phones, and most of them are free, and you can pay anything up to about sort of £5 depending on what you want it to do. But again, a metronome is a metronome. They all kind of do the same thing. Cool. If you want to take it to the next level, as you can see, I'm sat behind this beautiful Roland electric drum kit. I feel very fortunate to have this. I actually live in a 2-bedroom flat in London. My neighbours are really lovely as well downstairs, but they don't really make that much noise. And the beauty of an electric drum kit is that they replicate acoustic drum sounds without making the noise of an acoustic drum set. So I'll just give you a little demo. So I'm actually playing the Roland TD25 here. Again, there's so many different makes and models out there. Definitely do your research. If you go onto YouTube, there's loads of different breakdowns and comparison videos for all the different electric drum kits. Definitely check out the sounds that you want, although with these you can upload your own sounds into the module, but they are amazing for practicing in a flat to not make sort of too much noise. You can record with them as well. You can plug them into your laptop, and some of the newer ones now actually have Bluetooth on the module, so you can Bluetooth songs and backing tracks over to play along to, which is amazing. And the older models have a little cable where you can just plug your phone in. It's really, really handy, and sort of a step up from the practice pad. You've got all the elements that you would have on a normal acoustic drum kit. Cool. If you want to take it even further and you're fortunate enough to be able to play an acoustic drum kit at home, then there are millions of acoustic drum kits out there. Again, with the electric kit, do your research, see what you want in terms of sort of finish and sizes and different styles, but you don't have to spend loads of money nowadays to get a really, really good quality acoustic drum kit. You can get shell packs and hardware packs and cymbal packs all together now, and they all sound really, really, really good. But again, do your research, go onto YouTube, check out the comparison videos and see what suits your needs. Some brands that I would probably look out for, again, there's loads of different brands for acoustic drum kits, but some brands I look out for are DS Drums, Tama, Yamaha, DW, Gretsch, Ludwig, and Mapex. Again, I probably missed some out there, but they are some really, really good brands to look out for. Cymbals, I actually play, when I play my acoustic drums, I play Istanbul Agop. There are Zildjian and Sabian and Meinl and Pasty as well. There's loads of different brands out there. But again, go to some of your local drum shops or go online and try some out. And cymbals are a very personal touch. So definitely listen to the sound that you want and the sizes that you want as well. Right, if you've got your sticks and your practice pad, I'm going to give you 3 starter rudiments just to get yourselves going. So, rudiments are groupings of stickings or sequences that make up certain rhythms. And the 3 I want to start with are singles, doubles, and paradiddles. Now, there are loads more rudiments, and you can find these all at vicfirth.com, so the same as the sticks. And vicfirth.com is amazing because they actually give you samples, like audio samples, where you can check out what the rudiments sound like. And then they've got different tempos and different goals that you can reach so you can monitor your progress. So definitely check those out. So the first one is singles. And I'm not going to give you a tempo or anything right now. I just want you to get used to kind of the movement and the order of the stickings. So singles is right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay, and make sure you keep all the stickings very evenly spaced and your stick heights are at the same height and you're nice and relaxed. Back up straight and nice and relaxed in your strokes. So singles. Okay, so we've got right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. I'm doing it on my electric kit. You can do it on an acoustic drum kit at home, or you can do it on your practice pad. So singles again. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay, nice and relaxed. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Nice. So the second one is double strokes. And that is right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Like so. Okay, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. And as you can hear, all the stickings are the same volume and the same evenly spaced apart rhythms. The third one is paradiddles. Now this is slightly more complicated, and as you can see in the middle, when I tell you the rudiment, it's almost like a mirror image of itself. So the stickings are right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Okay, so singles, doubles, and paradiddles. I know they don't sound like much at the moment, but they are the building blocks of the drum set and all the things we're going to kind of do in the future. And also when you start orchestrating them around different voices and also upping the tempo, they become really, really interesting. So, in video 2, we're going to look at an amazing song called Love Philosophy by Jamiroquai. And the reason I've picked this really, really cool disco tune is that you can pick grooves depending on your ability behind the drum kit. Okay, so I want to look at 2 grooves now. We're going to look at a slightly easier one for beginners and then a slightly harder one for intermediate level. And this is going to be for the verse groove in Love Philosophy. And I want to give you guys a head start before we go into video 2. So let's get into it. So the simplified version for the verse of Love Philosophy goes like this. 1, 2, 4. Okay, so quite a nice sort of up-tempo groove. Don't forget this is a disco song, so the tempo is around 120 beats per minute. So if you've got a metronome, set it to 4/4 or 4 quarter notes in a bar and 120, and it's roughly around that tempo. So let's break this down. What I'm doing there is using the hi-hat as a reference point. Now, this is the hi-hat, this is the bass drum, and this is the snare, for those of you that don't know. So we're going to start with this hi-hat. And 4/4 is a time signature, and it basically means 4 crotchets or quarter notes within a bar. And 4/4 is typical of pop and rock songs. So if we're counting that, and as you've probably seen at gigs, the drummer goes 1, 2, 3, 4. He's not just doing that for a laugh. That is actually the tempo of the song. So 120 is roughly around there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll get to that tempo in a minute. What we're going to do is we're just going to play those quarter notes or those crotchets on the hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so just get used to that movement. Make sure as well on your hi-hat pedal, if you are playing this on a real drum kit. If you're not, you can just play it on your practice pad. If you are playing it on a drum kit, make sure your foot is nice and tight down on the plate. So you haven't got that. It's nice and tight. You're gonna have a kind of like a nice crisp sound for disco. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to reference these voices of the kit to the hi-hat. So the bass drum is going to be on 1 and 3. So remember the beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be on 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is kind of like a standard sort of pop beat. So if we get the hi-hat going, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little bit slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so with these, take your time. If you need to slow it down even more, slow it down. You can even play it like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And really take your time and get used to the movements. The more you do it, the more your muscles are going to retain this information, and that's what's called muscle memory. I'm not sure if any of you have ever rode a bike before or driven a car. It's something you don't really forget because your muscles remember the movements, your functional muscle memory. Cool. The next one, let's introduce the snare. So the snare is going to go on 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the kick drum is on 1, snare is on 2, 3, 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've got a nice kind of drum groove starting to be created there. And then if we add in the hi-hat again, you'll see where everything links up. I'm going to play it nice and slow. Don't forget as well, when you're playing with the hi-hat, make sure there's no flams. Make sure there's complete unisons. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's almost like a call and response between the bass drum and the snare drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're just linking up with that hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, make sure again with the bass drum you're kind of burying the beater into the head. Everything is nice and tight sounding and you're nice and relaxed when you're playing. Cool, if you're a little bit more intermediate and you want to take it to the next level, for the verse groove, what we can do is we can keep these two voices the same. We can actually just make your right hand slightly more advanced. And what we're going to do is we're just going to double up what we're doing with the right hand. So at the moment we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to add ands in between those beats. So if we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, the ands are going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're now introducing eighth notes or quavers. Okay, so on the hi-hat, if we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, introduce the quavers, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've still got that 1, 2, 3, 4. That is your tempo and that is your time. We're just adding in another subdivision there, which is the quavers into the equation. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. So if you've got used to those quavers, you can either play them all at the same volume, or what we can do is actually accent all of the strokes that are on the beat. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can either have them all at the same volume, or we can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And what I'm doing there is bringing the stick down for a full stroke, and then I've got a little up and a tap stroke. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And that movement allows me to get accents and the little ghost notes in my hi-hat rhythm. Cool. So take your time with that. All of this stuff is obviously going to be very new to you. If it's not amazing, you've obviously done your homework. But take your time and just make sure you're enjoying the process. Make sure that all of the voices sound the way they should be and they're all being hit or played at the right and correct time. So start practicing these, getting used to the rhythms. Remember to start them off slowly and get used to all the voices of the kit and where they should go within the groove, and then put them all together. So if we've got the first one, the slightly simpler version, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and the slightly more advanced version, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so just take your time with all of this. It will take a little while if you're not used to it to get used to the mechanics of all the movements. Make sure all of the voices are married together and sitting well within the groove, and just enjoy the process as well. This should be fun. So I know it can be frustrating if you can't get something straight away, but just take your time, slow it down, break it down, and I promise you, you're going to get there. Cool, thank you so much for watching this first video. I look forward to seeing you in video 2. If you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to contact the ICMP admissions team. Please check out the ICMP blog as well, and I'll see you guys in video 2. Cheers.